I'm Joshua Simon,
I'm Sam Joe,
and we are the SG Boys.
that little gay podcast from Singapore.
Subscribe and find us on Instagram at the SG Boys. We have a very exciting guest sitting across us right now on the SG Boys podcast. He is a musician. He is Singaporean. Is he?
Yes, I served NS.
Okay, correct. That means he's
That's as Singaporean as you can get,
okay. Who is Lou?
Oh, that question is so hard to answer because you don't want to sound boring.
Yeah.
But I'm a singer-songwriter and I am Singaporean, even though I grew up and was born in Hong Kong. There's so much pressure to answer that question correctly because it's like, do I present you my resume or do
I've noticed whenever I ask people that question, like who is Sam Joe, right? Because the temptation is to run me through your profile on Facebook, give me the stats, right?
Yeah.
I guess if you're on Grindr, that's the stats. Like what's your
Right.
height, what's your weight, what's your...
Or
and
worse still, like your LinkedIn.
Oh.
Your professional bio, which honestly, like, who the fuck cares?
We are all on this journey of self-discovery, and I think that question as we age becomes more and more profound.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
Who
it takes
are you?
longer to answer, right? Because when you're like 7, who are you? It's you just say your name. And now it's like, who are you? It's like,
Yeah.
I think I know who I am. And
Yeah.
here's a short list of things.
Well, I knew you as Lewis, and then you became Lou. Is there a difference between Lewis and Lou? Why you're...
Wait, how do you two meet again?
We met a very long time ago, didn't we?
Yes.
A very
Wait,
long
but
time ago.
how? I feel like you're avoiding something here.
We dated for a short period of time.
Okay.
A brief period.
I personally wouldn't consider it dating, but we
Okay.
went on some dates. I think there's a difference.
Okay, so how did you meet? Was it Grindr?
No, it was Tinder. It was Tinder.
Okay.
I had just
It was a period of time.
it was a moment. I had just moved from Hong Kong to Singapore, and coming into my own person, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna like trying this dating thing. So I went on Tinder and I matched with some people, and Josh was one of the people I matched with. And I was very intrigued because one of the profile pics was with Katy Perry, and I love Katy Perry. So I was like, why do you have a photo with Katy Perry? And he was like, oh, I'm a radio DJ. And then from there we started talking because he does music and I like music. And then
This was like, 6-7 years ago. It was a while back.
7 years ago.
Yeah, I was like 24, 23. And through the years, we've kept in contact. I'm very proud of you. You've released,
Thank you.
you've got a new album out
Yes,
as well.
yes.
You want to tell us about it real quick?
Yes.
But before we get there, I really want to hear about your music, but we just need to unpack this.
Okay.
You two can't just say you met on Tinder and then just expect me to let it slide. Like, I want to know how were the dates like, was there a lot of like kissing involved? Like, did you eat good food together?
No, we
Was
didn't
there
even
heavy
kiss.
petting?
We
Like,
never kissed.
Well,
which base did you arrive at? I want to know.
Okay, you tell me. You tell.
Well, okay, what's your version of what happened?
I was just getting to know Josh.
There you go.
But I don't remember us kissing.
Okay.
Wait, did we kiss?
We had one kiss, but it was like a really awkward one.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was. So he came over to my place, and then we were watching a film. I think we were watching a film, and then we had like a moment. Okay, it was a very brief kiss, but I could tell that he was very like.
I was shy.
He was very shy. He was not like Lou today, and Lou when I first met him was a very different person.
Yeah.
Right. So he was still trying to come to terms with his sexuality,
Exactly.
and he wasn't very confident.
And also,
with his,
I'd been in Singapore for like 3 months. I didn't know anybody. Part of it was, okay, yeah, I'm open to dating, but a part of it was also, I want to find friends.
Yeah, I knew that instantly, and I was like, okay, I need to back off, and we're just gonna get to know each other and just be nice and kind to each other, and that's it.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
But that wasn't your first kiss, right?
No,
he doesn't even remember
Okay.
it. So it's
Yeah.
Oh my god. I'm so sorry, Josh. I just wiped it out of my mind.
Okay, moving on before this gets really awkward.
Tell us about the new album, Michigan.
Okay, yeah, so I just released an album and it's called Michigan Missing Him. And I released it on August 27th. And it's basically about falling in love the second time. Because I think there's a lot of narratives told about the first time, right? How amazing and beautiful it is. And then the second love, that experience is a wiser brain. Like you've learned all the lessons from the first love, right? So you come into the second one with a bit of hesitation and maturity. Like, you know love exists, but then you don't let yourself fall without a parachute.
Yeah.
So that for me is what Michigan Missing Him.
You just
about.
hit him in his heart right there.
Yeah,
Oh,
you hit
no.
me in lots of places. No, it just felt like you were speaking poetry. It also helps that you have a very nice like speaking voice also. Like, I wasn't sure what your speaking voice was. Like, I know how you sing, which is like obviously goosebumps worthy, but yeah. Sorry, I'm just gushing here, but I love that little parachute line because that's very beautiful.
Yeah.
I think it's a really interesting place to be in when it comes to a second relationship, right? Because you have the lessons from the first one. I think I would even counter that with, it can also be really scary because you don't want to fall back into the same trap or habit.
Yeah.
It's one thing like, okay, I'll never do this again. It's another thing to get your body to actually move and be like, walk away, or this is not right. Or to even approach the second relationship without baggage from the previous one.
Yeah, see, that's the hardest part for me is like, in my first love, it ended because my ex cheated on me.
Right.
And obviously you bring that insecurity to the second love. And this second one was long distance. So it's like, I can't even if I wanted to check on what you're doing, I can't. I just have to trust you. Learning how to trust this person blindly, because you can't even take a bus. He was in Michigan and I was in Boston, you know, so it was like a 3-4 hour plane ride if we wanted to see each other. Yeah.
We have to ask, is this person in your life?
Like, still?
Yeah, because the album is Michigan Missing Him. Does he know that you wrote an album about him?
I mean, he must have known. He must know because he signed up for it, right? He dated a singer-songwriter. What can you expect? You know? Jokes aside, like, after we broke up, we talked about how we were going to deal with this relationship, and he kind of gave me his blessing to write music and like do what you need to do, right? Because at the end of the day, music is my job, right? Like, I can't censor this relationship from my job because it is part of my job. Experiencing life is part of my job, right? That was a big issue in that relationship because very early on, one of the first things he said was like, I don't want you to be famous, but I want you to be successful.
What does that even mean?
What does that even mean?
He wanted to keep you to himself, is it?
Yeah, it's kind of like, I want to have this private, personal relationship with you without the public knowing about us
as well, right?
Right. But then the side effect of being successful in the music industry as an artist is fame.
Right.
And that comes to play. So it was a huge, like, he really didn't appreciate artists or writers writing about their ex-loves because he felt like it was unfair to the ex-love because they don't get to tell their story. They're not the artist. They're not the singer-songwriter. All of my stories are one-sided, right? You know, it was very important for me to get that blessing from him. I was still going to release the music. Like,
yeah,
right.
I was still going to do it. But now that after I had that blessing, I was like, okay, let's go record this album. Let's do it. Let's release it.
Yeah. And it's more than your job as well. If you think of sort of artistry, if you're a songwriter, you're going to want to write based on your feelings. And if your feelings are currently entangled with, say, the image of this one person or the memories of this one person, it's going to be inevitable.
Yeah.
And it's also your source of healing. Yeah. Right. You create art, kind of like this sort of analogy. I know you hate me with my analogy, Samjo, but like Paulo Coelho with The Alchemist, my favorite book in the world. It's all about the transmutation of the base metal into gold, using your pain and sorrow and weaving it into gold, right? So that makes you an alchemist. So being able to take your suffering and create art, which helps you to heal, which helps people who listen to your music and be like,
going through that.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and I think it's also a reminder for all of us when we listen to music, it's always one side, and that's okay. Yeah. We're hearing Lou's side of the story.
Yes.
I get what you mean about it being one-sided and everything, because not everyone can have like a Mariah and Eminem relationship where they just write diss tracks about each other, right? And then have like the audience listen to you. So is he okay, like, now that you have written arguably an entire album about him?
Are
like,
you in contact with him?
Yeah, is he okay that he doesn't have like his side of the story out there, so to speak?
We stopped talking like last year. We broke up in the fall of 2019. We agreed that we would stop talking, and We really did. Like, no texting, no calling, nothing. So we cold turkeyed. And then I think 6 months after, I reached out. I was like, hey, do you want to just catch up and see how we're doing? And we did. And then everything was fine. And then a year after, like, he actually sent me this like massive text about like all the things that made me a toxic partner in that relationship. And I think at first I was very uncomfortable to receive it, because I was like, nobody wants to know that they were a shitty partner, right? Especially because when that relationship ended, it felt very amicable, and it felt very like, I love you, you love me, but this long distance thing is not sustainable because we're never going to be in the same place, and I don't want you to move for me, and I won't move for you because music will just take me wherever, right? After receiving that text, it was like a very big wake-up call for me to be like, it wasn't as beautiful as I remembered it, because this person had not an entirely different experience, but his experience was different to mine. He's not in my life anymore, but I like to think that I'm pretty respectful when I talk about him, because we had our differences, but he didn't hurt me as much as I hurt him. Yeah.
Well, I have a couple of things I want to like
unpack,
think out loud with you, and I want to like bounce this train of thought with you. First of all, thank you for sharing and being vulnerable with this story. I think when you sort of look back at it, when you said that, I guess my experience was very different from his experiences because of the evidence from this text message which hurt you. For his healing,
he had to process all of the bad shit. He needed to say
these things that were kind of like pent up. I don't think that should be like a reflection of what the relationship itself was. I'm sure there were many beautiful parts for it. And it's okay to be able to say that was a beautiful relationship. It didn't work out. Maybe that text message shouldn't have been sent. But because you care about him as a person, you're able to just put that down and be like, I hope that helped you heal. Yeah.
I'd be lying if I said it never crossed my mind to kind of defend myself and come up with a list of things that he did wrong, or come up with a list of like reasons why certain things happened. But I think in that moment it was kind of like I don't think I want to do that. Kind of just let him say his piece, and I apologized like genuinely about the things that I did in that relationship to him. It wasn't this beautiful ending that I wanted, but it was an ending, right? And then it was like, okay, so now we're really ready to move on. Like, the talk after 6 months was like the pseudo, like, this is what we wanted, but the one like a year after was like, okay, this is reality.
I think the most important thing is how you want to handle things moving forward with this narrative, right? I think choosing to say, this is how I will remember you and this is how I'll remember us, I think the narrative that you decide to go with is very important.
Agree.
Yeah, because if you take it as, oh, he turned out to be this and that, then you're gonna hate that period of your life. There's gonna be all these different things. Exactly, and I think that's the most important thing. You do what you have to do to create art, to heal. Wish him well, and that's it. Right? Yeah.
So in the off chance that he's actually listening, what would you like to say to him?
I guess I would say I'm sorry. Because, you know, when we broke up, it was over long distance as well. We didn't even break up in person. So I think I would say I'm sorry. And I hope that the next person you find will be a better fit and won't hurt you the way that I did. Yeah, I hope he's like pursuing the dreams that he wanted to pursue. Yeah.
That's very beautiful. And you know, sometimes in life, I feel like we often think that in order to reach some sort of closure, be it a relationship that ended perhaps on a not so nice note, a lot of people feel like closure needs to come in the form of both sides being okay with each other or at peace with each other. I don't feel like that's always possible. I think that people, more often than not, can and should agree to disagree on things, and people know that they've made mistakes. I think the important thing is that it's owning up to like your mistakes and knowing that, okay, this is not how I want to be treated and it's not how I want to treat other people going forward. You live and you learn, you know, like Alanis Morissette once sang, and it's just about picking up the pieces and like going with it. And the fact that you can actually write an album as part of your healing process is beautiful, because not all of us have such talents, you know. For some
Monetize
people,
my pain.
yeah. Oh, let's talk about that. Because I was gonna say some of us like instead of monetize, like we cash out, we spend money.
Right, you just spend
like, you know, you just buy ice cream.
Yeah, how was your coping?
Yeah.
How is my coping? I think being a musician is a very unique job because it's not like you clock in Monday to Friday and then once it hits 6 p.m. you stop being a musician, right? You're always a musician. So even after the breakup, during the whole grieving process, your mind is still in like, how do I create art from this? That for me is like the first thing, you know, and I gathered a few of my friends, Ariel and Danny Corbo, and we met up at her little apartment in Boston, and I brought all of the love letters from that relationship. What we did was we picked out random love letters from them, and we were like, okay, let's start here. Let's like read these and then see how we can turn them into song. Hence the first 2 tracks on the album, Dear and Love Letters. Like some of the lines, or a lot of the lines actually in those songs were like words written by him. I think it was very important for me to start off the album like this because it provides context. It's like, this is the first love letter we ever sent to each other, and it was beautiful and it was a little naive. But obviously, as you take off the rose-colored glasses and you settle into this relationship, the niceties kind of lessen, and then, you know, the letters that we would send were more real. Instead of it just being, I miss you and I'm writing this love letter in a coffee shop, it's like, I'm sorry for hurting you and I'm sorry that I can't be there at your big show, you know, things like that. Yeah.
I know musicians hate this. I'm not saying that you are like them, but I'm just saying that some of the best songs ever written in the whole wide world,
right,
across time, stem from heartbreak, you know,
yeah,
were born out of heartbreak.
Of course.
So of course, yes, you have your Taylor Swifts, but I'm thinking more recently Adele,
yeah,
whose newest album is dedicated to her divorce, for instance. And
yeah, it's because I think sorry to cut you off.
No, please.
I think like heartbreak, what it does to you is it strips you away from your performance, right? Like your day-to-day performance. You show up to work or you show up to school with a role, right? Like you are that positive, funny person in class, for example, right? Like what heartbreak does is it takes all of these like characteristics away, and you're just left feeling very raw, and you don't have the energy to perform anymore, right? I think that's why songs that stem from like true heartbreak is so powerful to me, because there's no performance. It's literally a person exposing themselves, right, for music. Yeah.
Was there any point in creating this album where you felt like, oh, it's too painful, maybe I want to lay off it for a while and revisit it at another time? Because I think when people think of like heartbreak music and heartbreak albums, they always hear like the triumphant or like the I'm letting it all out, and it's already a finished product.
Right.
And you go like, oh, there's Christina having her revenge. She's a fighter. Yeah.
Like, I don't need you, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Would you ever reduce to tears? Like, was it like ever difficult? Do you have to stop and start?
It didn't come into fruition over a month. You know, it took basically a year to write out all the songs and then pick the right pieces to go on there, because there are a lot of songs that were about that relationship that are not on this album. Yeah, some songs take longer than others. Like, for example, like Summer Boy, which is track 8, is about regret. Literally, the line is, I wish that I gave in when you took my hand to play outside with you. It's literally something that happened in that relationship. Like, he was a very outgoing person, and I was a homebody, like, cat, you know? And, you know, he would always, like, try to get me to go outside and go bike riding and all this stuff. And I would always, you know, say I'm too tired or I have work to do and all these things. And that song could only be written, like, months after, you know, when you are stabilized and are in reflective mode, and you're like, damn, I should have savored that moment more. I should have gone out with you more. And then there are songs that are very fresh, like Terminal, which is track 7. Like, that song is about kind of confronting a very harsh truth, which is, when I was with this person, deep down I knew that this was not a forever relationship. I knew that we were going to be together for a while, but I knew that this was not that long-term thing, you know? I'm avoiding saying the one, right? Because I listened to the other podcast that you guys did, and like how I feel like I also agree. I feel like there are multiple the ones, you know. So I just knew that this person was just not
The one.
yeah the one exactly. Like that's what terminal is about. It's like I know that this relationship has an expiry date.
Or terminal, like in transition.
In more like terminal illness.
Oh, I
Like,
see. The end.
There is an end.
Destination.
There's an impending ending. You know, and that's why that song, I wrote it like 2 weeks after the end of that relationship, because it was like my way of trying to move on, because it was like I should be heartbroken, but I shouldn't be so heartbroken because it wasn't going to be a long term one, you know?
Yeah.
I will say this, that's actually, as much as some people will say, wow, like, you know, you got over it so quickly or whatever.
Right.
But like you said, that was your process. And that's actually a way more healthy process of dealing with heartbreak than most people. You know, some people go into very self-destructive, like a very self-destructive
Right.
pattern. Some people take it on other people who are there for them.
You know, as a musician, I still did some of those things. I'm not just sitting there like going like, I'm heartbroken, let me just turn it all into art and be a healthy member of society, right? Like I still indulged in my ice cream, and
You had the messy parts as well, which may not be photographed, or you may not
Yeah.
be. The turmoil may have happened also in the quiet moments when no
Of
one's
course,
watching,
of
right? And
course.
you remember those periods as well. So I'm not going to let you sit with us and be completely vulnerable and naked and raw with your emotions like that, without also like kind of like chiming in and
Yeah, of
relating
course.
with you, because I kept quiet for like most of the conversation, because it was like very strangely reflecting a lot of what I felt just a couple of years ago, right? And I remember that process of writing music when you can't escape from it. And I've tried writing. I can't like. Sometimes people ask you as a songwriter, like, hey, can you just sit down and write a song? You can, but it'll be a shitty song, right?
Right.
But when
Unless you're Sia. who
unless
just
you're a
bangs out a
professional.
jam in 40 minutes. She's like, shine bright like a diamond. And then it's a hit.
like if you want to write a song and you're going through something that's so personal,
Yeah.
you can't run from it.
Yeah.
Right? It's so visceral and the pain is so individual. When people say, I understand, I know how that feels, no one ever does. Because whatever you're going through, it's with this person that only you know what that relationship was. So it's really, really tough. And then you're writing. And so I did something similar as well. Like my first album, I was working on it for like 4 years.
Yeah.
And then when I had it rough for that period, I wrote so fast. And I would wake up in the middle of the night and I would remember,
I remember
some of
that feeling.
Yeah, I remember like some of the dialogue that we had or some of the text messages, and that would end up actual lyrics in the song. And there's something about the English language or just language in general that just does not fully capture what you're feeling.
Yeah.
But when you listen to the music, when the melody comes in or the beats come in and it roars and then you hear it, you're like, this is how I feel.
Right.
So it's a really powerful feeling when you can create from that space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree, but also I think every musician or a writer or whatever has their way of recreating that atmosphere,
Yeah.
right? Because I'm not a producer in the sense that like I'm not creating like, you know, strong beats or driving bass line, for example. Very much
Gentle.
like I love lyrics, right?
Yeah.
So I try my best to encapsulate that feeling through words, right? And everything else for me is secondary. I don't care. I mean, I do care, but I don't care about the drums. No offense to the drummers out there, but
It's just very different. Like so for
That's
me,
my
mine is the
approach, yeah.
opposite. Mine is so there's a song on my album called Drive, right? And that's based off an actual ride in the car that we had. But in my song, I wanted to sort of forget the reality of it.
Yeah.
So I created a fantasy. So it's like an 80s film where it's two people driving away from Sodom and Gomorrah and the city's on fire. So I create this whole like fantasy, and that's sort of my way of coping.
Yeah,
right. And I talked
exactly.
about earlier about how you want to remember things a certain way.
Yeah.
So when I finished the album, I looked at it as this is how I remember it. This is completely my fantasy, and I'm going to let it be that fantasy because I can't figure out reality, you know? Yeah, it's tough.
Joshua Simon Drive available on iTunes.
No, that's not a plug.
I'm kidding. I'm like, honestly. sometimes when I interject with like quips and everything, actually that's also my way of, it's
No,
not
no,
that it's not I'm downplaying stuff. I think sometimes people misunderstand also when they're trying to confide in me something very serious. Like that's just my
that's
natural
how you,
reaction. I'm trying to like lighten the mood because I thought that things were getting too heavy, and maybe I'm fucked up in that way. Like I can't stand it when, not that I can't stand it, but I get very I get a little bit squirmish when people are very serious around me. It's not that I don't appreciate the gravity of the moment. I feel like, oh my god, I need to cheer you up because my god, you went through that, like, you know.
And we adore you for that as well.
But sometimes I feel like, oh, maybe I should.
No, not at all.
Yeah, just want you to know that. Yeah, definitely. That's really.
I'm telling my story with a smile on my face. I'm
like, you are actually.
You're able to talk about this so comfortably.
That
takes courage.
It would be different if if you brought me on like a month after the breakup. Like I could not talk like this, you know? So this is also, I know how to detach myself.
I think also early on when you talked about how the no contact rule, I'm not sure if this is something that everyone knows about, but that was something that I learned about as well, because YouTube. So when I had like my big breakup a couple of years ago, I would just type whatever I was feeling on YouTube, and then I would have some online coach just tell me about what to do, and they would be like 30-day no contact rule, do not text. The guy. And I was just like, what? But if you love someone and you want to make it work, you have to text them. So I did that. I did the long text messages and all that, and I just was a mess. But I only started healing after the no contact rule, and it really, really does help.
It works, because it freaking works.
And sort of the reasoning behind that is, as much as you want to check in on each other, the no contact period of time is very important, because that's also when you remember what life was like when this person was not around. And you learn to repair what tomorrow will be when this person's not around. You need to be able to fill up your schedule. You need to be able to call your friends. You need to be able to feel sad and be able to know who to hit up that's not this person. So you need to get back into,
who do you send your memes to? I feel like that's the saddest part, is
these
when you see a
things,
meme and you're like,
you want to send it to him, but
and you're like, damn, he would have loved that.
But,
and if I send this to anybody else, they're not going to get it. You know?
And as painful as all that is, you have to, because you've both decided this is not working out, and you have to heal, right? That's the most important thing. And I'm sure you've had a lot of friends tell you the usual run of just give it some time. But really, it's not just the seconds, because I remember during that period as well,
you're counting the seconds.
And I would say, oh my gosh, it's nighttime. I made it to nighttime. And mornings are really hard as well. It's not just time itself, but what you do with the time. You need to occupy yourself. You need to grow. You need to give yourself new information about this world and yourself. You need to heal.
I think like a big part of the reason why the 30-day no contact rule works is because you are building and creating a new schedule. Without them. Literally what you were saying, like, how do you fill your time, right? Because the first 1-2 weeks is so hard, because everything triggers you. Everything is like, they would like this, or I should take a photo of this food for them. And you know,
I do that too. I don't know why people send photos of their meals to each other, but we do that. So.
But then there comes a time where it's like, you go through your whole day and you're like, holy shit, I did not think about this person at all today. Wow, I'm making progress. And then the next 3 days, you're just thinking about them the whole time, you know? And it's like, damn it, like, healing is not linear.
You really need to pull yourself out of being so reliant on that person. I've been single for the longest time, and again, I'm not being bitter. I'm just saying that sometimes I see my couple friends, for instance, like, you know, spend almost every single waking moment with each other, which is very sweet. Like, and trust me, as and when they get married, I'll be the loudest at the party, and I'll be cheering them on, and I'll be like, you know, buying them, like, you know, love. I'm that friend. I would enable your relationship. But I do wonder, because I've been so used to like being so self-sufficient. When you get into a relationship, like, what is that healthy balance, you know? Your
examples were things like sending photos of your food to each other, or like asking them how's your day. I think that's different to being dependent on them. Because you're sharing moments, you're sharing this world. It's very different if you are contacting your partner for validation. For example, like, do I look good today? That's very different to, this is my outfit and I feel amazing.
I get what you mean, but sometimes it's also that validation comes in very disguised forms, right? You know, it's like the fact that someone on the other side of this phone
is even like wanting to receive these texts.
Yes, and is curious about how I feel about this meme, or is curious about what I'm doing with my day. Like, I'm good enough for this person.
Well, you've got to figure out
that reliance there.
You've got to figure out what the dynamics are in the relationship itself. Because if the goal of the relationship is you enjoy each other's company, maybe you enjoy certain aspects of the relationship, maybe the going out on dates, or maybe the sex, and you just want to keep it to those areas, and that's it. And then we meet up for those things, and that's kind of it. It's kind of, I view it in a very different perspective. So I view this as very mechanical. And then there's the other one, which is sort of, you're looking at it as, I want to live my life, you're living your life, we're going to experience life together. So little things like seeing something funny and sharing it, or you tripped over something and you could have just like, oh, shake it off and that's it. But you told this partner that, you know, hey, I tripped over this thing, funny story. And just a little bit of banter here and there just keeps each other alive in your life. So you include them in all the little things as well, and it becomes a unit.
Connection is different to dependency. You want to be connected with this person, but you don't want your identity to be them.
Yeah, your worth, you know. But I think also what you're getting at, Samjo, is that because you're enjoying all these things, you're now depending on this person's time and attention.
Yeah, I hear what both of you are saying, but I was trying to say that over time, even though they're like your own separate units in that relationship, it kind of, the lines are very blurred. Yeah, you suddenly have that gaping hole there. That's why stuff like, you know, the 30-day cold turkey rule hurts so much, because I feel you. It's like even that one day, like, or even when it's not there yet, even when you haven't even mutually agreed to split, when it's like, oh, he's not texting back for the whole day.
It feels like shit.
It's like, what the fuck? and then I go back to, why do I even like bother? You know?
Yeah.
And it's not that I'm giving up on love or whatever it is. It's more of like, maybe we just weren't meant for each other. And some people also, in the big scheme of things, are just not meant to be in relationships. I do feel that way.
I think we need to use this opportunity with the person listening to this podcast right now to just remind you, don't play games. Don't play fucking
but games are fun.
No. Yeah, video games are fun.
Okay.
Video games are fun. Don't play games with humans, with other people.
Squid Game?
If you if you like someone, let them know. If you feel the relationship's not working out, have that conversation. Don't string them along and leave them hanging, and you don't know what's happening, and then you show up again a month later just because you feel lonely one night, and it just so happened Whitney Houston was on the radio, and then you felt a little raw, and the 10 other people that you texted on Grindr didn't reply, so you're hitting back. Don't do that. Just don't. We need to start looking to each other as if the other person is perfect and they understand the world more than you.
Yep.
Okay, chances are they're just as fucked up, if not more. Yeah, they don't know themselves, just like how you don't know yourself. Stop looking to each other like they're your parents.
Stop putting people on pedestals.
Exactly, right? You're waiting for that person's cue.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get at. When it comes to these kind of situations, we're waiting for that.
Nobody knows the script.
Yes.
So I'm a huge advocate for, if you like somebody, just tell them.
Yeah, and also just to swing back to Samjo earlier, are you getting teary-eyed?
No, I just...
Do you like someone right now?
Kind
of. Do you
like
Lou?
But it's not about me. No, it's not. I mean, I love you
Thank you.
in a like, I'm a fan, clearly, like, you know. But I will say I'm in a bit of like a transition period now where, honestly, even recording this, I don't want to make this about me, but since you asked, just very quickly, even recording this podcast is a good distraction.
Okay.
I'm actually happy. Yeah. But of course, as I'm looking at my notes on my phone, like, you know, and we turn off data and turn on airplane mode, so it won't interfere with the mics. I actually was quite happy because I'm like, at least if I get no notifications, it's not that he's not texting, it's that maybe it's because, you know, there's no connection, so it's fine.
Right.
And that took power on your part to put it on airplane mode and not look at it all the time. It takes just a little thing of just putting your phone face down and not checking it, because you don't need to constantly look at it. And these little things, like you just talked about looking at your phone and you know that's giving you a bit of anxiety, all of us, we need to be aware of that. If you feel like you're constantly checking social media all the time and you're checking it because you want to see if this person's watching your stories or whatever, you need to...
Oh my God.
You need to immediately catch yourself and be like, this is not healthy for me.
Yeah.
I don't care about this person and what they're going through. This is not healthy for you. So you need to just go off for a while. So you need to catch yourself, because this will eat away at your spirit.
It's
tough.
It's so hard.
That circle of life, the fucking circle, like, circle of life.
That's why you have us girls to sit with you. That's why.
I know. I was looking forward to this. Like, and in a way, I hate to say this, but like, to put it in a great way is that, I'm enjoying your company, and that is a fact.
Yeah.
But to look at it on the flip side is that this is a distraction. Because anything else is not him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is fucked up, which is stupid. But I'll get over it. I'm going to drink my iced lemon tea and I'll be fine.
But this is the importance of community, and that's what we keep reminding everyone about this podcast, and why it's important just to have friends that you can just talk to and be like, girl, you messy as hell, but we love you, right? And that's why when you go through stuff and you learn, don't just keep it to yourself, share it.
Yes. And I'm gonna listen to your album.
Thank you.
But I listened to a couple of songs. You have this, I went straight for that track with the chim word, Thanatosis.
Oh yeah, Thanatosis.
Yes, because I was like, oh, what's that?
That has
it's
an
a word of the
interesting
day.
backstory.
Yeah. Thanatosis, apparently it's like the root word is, the Greek word is death.
Thanos.
Like Thanos, Thanos.
Yeah.
It's like pretending you're dead, right?
Yeah, so it's thanatosis is a defense mechanism that ants do, where they pretend that they're dead so that the prey moves on. Yeah.
Play dead. What I do in bed sometimes.
No, they're predator. Sorry, they're predator.
He's doing it again.
It's a good post-breakup album.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you would recommend it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I would say listen to it, relive the good moments, and then realize that it wasn't perfect and it's not supposed to be perfect.
Yeah.
I'm curious actually from both of you, since you both write your own music, and I know both of your music stems from heartbreak, but what are some other heartbreak songs that you would recommend to people who are going through a rough time? Like, what was your inspiration, because you had your own heartbreaks also when you didn't have your own songs to fall back on.
I want to jump in by just mentioning
please.
that there's so many different types of heartbreak songs, and when you're actually going through heartbreak and you listen to a song about heartbreak, suddenly that song comes to life in a way like no other. Like, you can listen to an Adele, someone like you, over and over, no problem, but then
sometimes you need the Dua Lipa. And then sometimes you need the Sufjan Stevens.
Yeah.
It's different context, right? Because sometimes you don't want to be melting in your own like depression, right? Sometimes you need the I don't need you anymore. Bye.
Sometimes you need a this is a potential breakup song.
Ali and AJ.
It was my birthday. My fucking birthday. Do you guys hear the new version?
And you're telling me you don't like drums
and
and all
the new
that?
version uses the word fucking instead of stupid.
Oh, finally.
It was my birthday. My fucking birthday. Yeah.
Well, that's a legendary song, I must say. Yeah.
Because you want the music to reflect what you're going through, right? And when you're going through a breakup and you're healing, the word healing sounds so peaceful and calm, but the reality of it is messy, it is disgusting, it is ugly.
It's like a scab. It's literally like a scab, and it's fucking itchy, and then you rip the scab, and then the scab bleeds again, and then you gotta wait for it to heal, and then you pick at it again, and it just... I mean, to be honest, when I'm going through heartbreak, all I can think about is writing my own music.
I like that.
I am the singer-songwriter. I am that person who's writing about heartbreak, right? So when I'm going through it, listening to somebody else's story is not going to help me go through mine.
Yeah.
Recently, I've been listening to this artist called Madi Diaz. Have you heard her stuff? Yeah. And she has this album... Oh, I forgot the title of it, but there's a song called History of a Feeling. History of a Feeling is self-explanatory. She's trapped in the history of a feeling.
I remember I was reading a lot during that period of grief for me, and I was very fascinated by grief itself. So I was reading, like, Joan Didion wrote a book on grief itself and how she processed it and the science of grief and what it does to your body and like what parts of your brain actually gets triggered when you think of memories that make you feel intense emotion. So I started going into that zone of I want to understand my feelings. So I was listening to a lot of classical music, actually.
Okay.
Because as much as we have the Since You've Been Gone that you
yeah,
can
yeah,
belt
yeah,
out,
yes.
which is great.
Love.
And I
Yeah.
did do the Google search on great breakup songs to
Yeah,
listen
yeah,
to,
yeah,
because
yeah.
you're just looking for that itch.
Do you throw
Yeah.
his clothes out of the window also and smash his TV?
I feel like,
Like she did in
Josh,
the MV.
are you toxic? You're not toxic.
Explain toxic.
Like, are you destructive? Like,
Oh,
throw
I'm-
the clothes and all that?
I'm self-destructive. I think
Okay.
that's what, and
Yeah.
like I'm definitely self-destructive. There were definitely moments where I was angry.
Yeah.
I was very conscious of not being angry to this person. Because so just to meet you where you are,
Yeah.
I had a very similar thing as well, where it was long distance as well,
Yeah.
and there was a period of time where we didn't speak to each other.
Don't do long distance.
And it was really tough. But then I got a text message, an apology a year later, which I never saw coming. And then my mind just went,
I'm still waiting for that. Sorry, I keep cutting you off. Continue, please.
no. You don't need it. You don't need it.
Damn.
You really don't. And because that's how I felt when that apology came.
Yeah.
Because I was waiting for that conversation to be had. The next day, the next day, the next day, the next month, 2 months has passed, 3 months has passed, and then you find your own zone, and then that text message comes in.
It
and
resets everything.
I went into full panic attack mode. I got off. I was on a bus. I
Yeah.
had to call my friend and be like, I don't know what to do. This
Yeah.
is so. I'm seeing this person's profile pic. I've not seen this person's face in
Right.
like a year.
Right.
So you go into that headspace where it's just like you don't know what to do, but then you also realize that I was fine before this text message came in, and that's very important. So whether or not this person says I'm sorry for
Yeah.
all the things that he said to you,
Yeah.
you are able to walk yourself back to life. You're able to
Yeah.
stand up,
Yeah.
and you are a different person from the day one of the breakup to where you are now, and you just have to trust the process.
Yeah.
So when I did get that text message, part of me was like,
Yeah.
do you know what I've been going through?
Right.
This whole period of time where you were not there. But then even at that moment, I was like, whatever I say now in response to this text message is how I'll remember this. So I'm not gonna be, I'm not gonna figure out why. I'm not gonna look for closure. I'm just gonna say, thank you. I'm sorry for my
Accept
for
it.
my mistakes. I wish you well. And it was that, and we've not talked since, right? So I think I'm more worried about the self-destructive part of me rather than the destructive part, because I get very conscious about what I try to do to people, I think, in response to that.
All right. So I have a question for Samjo, because we've been listening to like what musicians do post breakup.
Samjo's also arguably a musician himself. Have you seen his karaoke nights? He does violent karaoke. That's what he calls it. It's on Insta story.
Violent karaoke.
He and his friends dress up. They sashay down the hallway. They jump on sofas. If you do not
Like
follow,
Tom Cruise, yeah.
So is that what you do post breakup?
if you do not follow Samjo on
Sometimes.
Instagram, it's
Oh my god, am I plugging my Instagram
Yes,
now?
plug it.
You stay for me. It's so weird for me.
Samjo Exotic. I love it. Samjo Exotic. Okay, and Liu, you are on.
Yeah, I'm on everywhere at LEWLOH lewloh.
Okay, I'm Joshua Simon XL. Fuck off.
Follow your favorite person from this podcast.
Oh my god. How do you cope? How do you cope with grief?
Actually, no one has asked me that question before, which is really interesting.
When people think of Samjo, they think smiling, jumping, like all the promos on SG Boys. But you hurt and you feel that hurt
I feel
as
like
well.
that was a read.
No. I'm just saying you're such a bubbly person. I think the
Right, right,
assumption
right.
and the lazy assumption is that you're bubbly all the time. And I know just now you talked
Yeah.
about how you crack jokes here and there to lighten the mood.
Yeah.
But how are you like when you
Yeah.
have to face this?
I know. I get dark also. I definitely do. Yeah, it reminds me of the Ashley Simpson song, Autobiography. Got bruises on my heart, and sometimes I get dark. If you want my autobiography, baby, just ask me.
That's how he copes.
Yeah, and it's not lip sunk.
But yeah, I think I distract myself, I will say. I do keep up this like facade of like I'm always happy and everything. I think that's just a product of me being an extrovert.
Are you a middle child?
No, I'm the youngest.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he's
So-
a Gemini. I just want to put that out there.
Oh, okay.
I'm a Gemini and a Leo.
I'm
and
a Leo.
Are you?
Yeah.
Right. I'm a Gemini sun, but then Leo moon.
Okay.
But then my dark side as
Yeah,
not
yeah.
psychic reader, as my personal tarot card like / horoscope reader friend Jensen always says. My Scorpio rising. I have a Scorpio rising side. So I do kind of like get really moody sometimes.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
anything? Do you believe in horoscopes?
I kind of do. Like, I subscribe to most of it. Actual professional horoscope readers, or even like numerologists, like all of this stuff. I do think that the world is connected more than just organized religion. You take what you need from it, you take what you want from it, and you just use it as a reflective tool. Like, if you really don't believe in horoscopes and these like numerology or personality types, all this stuff, like, just use it to reflect. If it says like, oh, you are such a patient person, and you're like, I'm not patient, then it did its job.
Yeah. Exactly.
You
Yeah.
know, because you're like,
Because
at
you
least now
became
you're aware.
conscious
Yeah.
about whether or not you're patient. And I think whether or not you believe in star signs or, say, a religion, like I'm Christian, right? I think it's important for us to be careful to not, like, when they say God created man in his image, we need to not create God in our image. So I'm relating that as an analogy to say, you with the stars,
Another
if the
analogy.
stars are real, why aren't the stars doing what I want them to do to my problems, which are the most important problems in the entire world? You should serve me. And then when it doesn't serve me, I blame the stars.
You're right.
So I think that's very important, that we don't view horoscopes or personality traits as, if you're real, then you should serve me. If God is real, you should serve me. And let God do its thing. Let the stars do its thing. Let the earth spin around its axis. You know, does it spin? Yeah, it spins around the axis, and then it revolves around the sun.
No, it's like, how do I use this knowledge to my own advantage? You know, it's there. And if you don't want to use it, then you don't have to use it. You know,
take it or leave it.
And if we weave it back to relationships, and the last thing that you said, Samjo, about where you are when it comes to relationship dynamics, right? You really don't know until you're in a relationship. Yeah.
and it keeps changing every
will
time.
keep
Depending on who
changing.
that person is,
And it should change. And
Right.
you're also allowed to change your mind about yourself, about the
True.
world. Please, we all need to be comfortable with people changing their minds. Just like how we hope some homophobes can change their minds.
Yeah.
You know, and all of us, we should just give each other room to grow, to learn, to figure things out. Did Samdra and I think today that we're going to sit with Liu and talk about grief and talk about the stars and talk about treating ourselves better?
Yeah.
No. We thought we were going to promote your album, which we hopefully kind of did a little.
We talked
Yeah.
about my album.
Yeah, but this is
But we use the album as like a portal to discuss.
No, because this is what music is about.
Yeah.
It stems from real life experiences. Whenever you watch those like interviews of other artists and they talk about their album, like they only have like 5 minutes to talk about their album, right? So they can only give you the really nicely packaged version of why they wrote the album.
Yeah.
But this is how it's like, you know, the healing process is not linear, like I mentioned. And the 3 people that you're listening to today have different coping mechanisms, different coping experiences. We've experienced love in different ways. So it's like, hopefully this is interesting to listen to.
Absolutely.
Michigan Missing Him is available now on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you consume music. The artist is Liu that joined us today for the SG Boys podcast. It's an album. It's phenomenal, but it came from lyrics. The lyrics came from real life experiences, real people,
Real
and
love letters.
stories.
Yes,
Essentially,
track 2.
all of us have stories. So,
What's yours?
okay. I was going to go for something really
supposed to
nice and
complete
delicate.
yours and-
I'm Joshua Simon,
I'm Sam Joe,
and we are the SG Boys.
that little gay podcast from Singapore.
Subscribe and find us on Instagram at the SG Boys. The beliefs, views, and opinions expressed on this podcast are attributable to its hosts only and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, organization, company, or individual.